Welcome back, everybody. Today is an honor for me because we have one of the original OG fitness YouTubers that we have on the podcast today. I've been friends and been a fan of this guy for a very, very long time. He is the founder of the KingKeto brand, and he also has the high ticket trainer program where he teaches trainers how to make money online. Please welcome Mr. Brandon Carter to the program. How you doing today, Brandon?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor to be here. And, we couldn't be in person.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate you facilitating this over Zoom.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tempt you to come out here to Vegas. We're going to do this in person one of these times. I promise you.
All right, for sure, 100%.
I appreciate it. Okay, let's go back to the original for somebody who might not be familiar. First off, it is KingKeto. Can you describe what the keto diet is, and then how did you get started? Because you were doing these vicious ab workouts 7 or 8 years ago. I'm watching you doing this training online. Can you tell me how this whole thing got started, and then where the name came from?
For sure. First of all, I just want to say that you don't need to do keto to lose weight.
Right.
You don't need to do keto to be in shape. It's not for everyone. I want to be clear about that. It's not something that I try to push down people's throat or say everybody should do it or it's the best thing. It's the best thing for me. But there's tons of people who eat carbs and are in great shape. I just want to clarify that because I get an adverse reaction from some people.
Yeah.
Michael, you'd be surprised how many people vehemently oppose it. And I just want to let them know, man, you can do whatever the fuck you want, bro.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Can I curse here?
Yeah, you can curse, please. We encourage it.
Fuck
in fact, when people don't curse, we actually kick them off the program. We have a panel coming up. You know Dan Fleischman is, right?
Yeah.
Right, he does elevator nights. It was going to be me, Wes Watson. We're going to do Brad Lee, Ryan Stewman. We'll have you on too, and we're just going to call it the motherfucker panel. And that's because that's what we say all the time. That's what we were thinking about doing there. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So how I got involved with it initially is I was in good shape already. I was in really good shape, and I just went for a checkup with my doctor. Some normal just for, health insurance, something like that. And they said my cholesterol is really high. It's a genetic predisposition.
Yeah, you have
a lot of people in my family. Yeah, it's the only thing. Other than that, we are perfect. Like no cancer, nothing. People smoke, drink in my family and live to be 90, invincible. It's just, a little bit of high cholesterol. And they wanted to put me on like statins, pills, and those come with a lot of side effects.
Yeah.
And because I had been a trainer in the fitness industry for, like over 20 years at this point, I thought, what if I could solve this naturally, right? And I had experience with the ketogenic diet or versions of it because, anybody who wants to get ripped for like a show, back when I did some fitness modeling or even just for a photo shoot, everyone cuts carbs for that, right? In order to lose water weight. And I studied the ketogenic diet too, because I've been a trained nutritionist for like mad long. And there's a lot of studies that show that it can naturally reduce cholesterol. I know it may seem, it's contrary to popular belief, right? Because you think if you're eating all this meat or you're eating all this stuff that it will go up, but it's actually to the contrary. So I said, fuck it. Let me just try it instead of going on these pills that have all these side effects. And within 1 month, my testosterone dropped and they said, oh, it's good now. And I was like, cool. But what I also noticed is I felt better, man.
Your cholesterol
I had
dropped.
more.
Your cholesterol.
Yeah, my cholesterol dropped. So that was the main reason I did it. But then I just felt better, I lost a lot of water weight, right? My diet was always dialed in, so I didn't lose a lot of fat, but that wasn't the purpose. But I lost more water weight, so I looked more ripped. And that's not nothing, right? Looking more ripped. And I just noticed that I had way more energy. Now, that's not going to be the case for everyone. And that's cool. If you want to eat carbs, man, listen, bro, if you want to eat carbs, it's all good, man. Have some cake, some rice. I don't give a fuck, right? Because people try to attack me on this, like a lot of fitness guys. And man, just relax, bro. Yeah. It's talking about me. And I just felt way better. My skin was clearer. And so I stuck with it. And the longer I did it, people were saying I was looking younger.
Yeah.
Like I'm turning 40 in a few weeks. And I don't know. I just felt significantly better on it. So I kept it. And also just from a marketing perspective, right? The more you dial in on a niche, right? The riches are in the niches.
Yeah.
A lot of you may have heard that. So I was marketing my fitness content at the time, my online training business. And I was like, well, if I'm doing this, let me dial in on that niche.
Yeah.
I made a few $1 million doing it. It worked out pretty well for me, but it wasn't just for that, because keto's not like crazy popular like it was at that time.
Right.
But I'm still doing it because I really fuck with it.
Is it so? You want to get into a state of ketosis, and do you think that the reason why your cholesterol went down is because your body started using more internal fats and more internal energy sources in order to give you energy?
I don't know why my cholesterol went down. I'm not well versed enough in human biology to give you, to make a fair assessment of that. However, from the energy standpoint, it's okay when you eat carbohydrates, it's converted to glucose or glycogen.
Yeah.
And when your glycogen levels go above 110, your blood glycogen levels go above 110, your pancreas secretes a hormone called insulin. And the insulin's job is to lower your glucose levels. But it's those big spikes and dips in glucose that make people tired. This is why sometimes when you eat a big meal, you're tired, right? Or you get that after lunch, you're just slower. I know you've been intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah.
So you're probably in a state of ketosis while you're fasting.
Right.
Your body's probably running off ketones, right?
It is a weird feeling, because at first I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. And now I just don't, I feel weird if I have any food before, like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Right. Are you more productive during that time than you were before?
There's several reasons, but the main one is as I get leaner, Brandon, the bloated, tired effect is it's almost like there's a button in the top of my stomach, and when I eat a bunch, it's just sleepy time. Because when I was in the military, dude, we would eat and have those 2 o'clock nappy naps. You know what I'm saying? You'd be so tired after you go eat. Now it's like the worst. Like I have to go to sleep, and so that was one of the things where I just kept pushing it back, and I found that I started doing my work calls fasted, and they work out better. Now we get to a point where I'm like, bro, I want to eat everything in this place. Yeah. I get really, really hungry. But just that whole, the snake eating the boa constrictor, looking all bloated, that I get that more now. The leaner I get, the more that these pockets of fat start disappearing. I start feeling it more. There's that, and then there's this other thing. I do feel this like focus. I don't know how to explain it unless you try it before, but it is the same focus when I like feel like you ever feel that feeling you have to go to the gym? Like I really want to go now, right? Or I have to go play basketball, or I have to go lift. I get that feeling a little bit more in the morning, and I don't know necessarily why that is. I think it's because my body's burning its own fat, but yeah, I definitely have noticed a difference because of that.
Well, it's the ketones, right? When your body's running off glucose or glycogen, that's fine. That's a fuel source that your body can use, right? But in the absence of that, your liver produces what's called ketones, and that's a different fuel source, right? And glucose has to be refilled every time, right? So if you're only running off that, you can only store so much, and then your body needs more, and that's how you get these waves of energy. But when you're running on ketones, it comes from either the fat you eat or your body's own fat, okay? And your body has enough fat, even like the leanest person has enough fat for them to sustain itself for a significant amount of time. So it's a renewable resource. Yeah. That doesn't go away, right? Where glucose, it's you got to keep fueling it up. Yeah. And that's fine. A lot of people do it, and you can do it. But for me, man, I just became so much more productive. Because first I was doing intermittent fasting for a while, right? And I would, the same thing you're talking about, I would be so productive until 3. And then at 3, it was kind of over. It was kind of over. I had to get everything done before 3. But I did that for years. And I think that was why it was so much easier for me to move into the ketogenic diet, because when you're in that fasted state, you're probably running off some ketones to sustain yourself. And that's where you get that focus from. Honestly, some people just take ketones, right? Yeah. Even when you could take ketones, even if you're on carbohydrates, and what you'll notice is you might start feeling that feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about originally, because 8-9 years ago, YouTube was a different place, right? It was a lot
Yeah, it
easier.
was.
I have videos with millions of views, and like now I see like it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more saturated. It's a little bit more pay to play. When you started, you're doing like some of these 6-pack workouts, and they're getting just like massive amounts of views. Can you describe for people what it's like? Because Instagram kind of went through the same thing. They go through their organic phase, and then they go to their paid phase, right? You kind of see that. So now with YouTube, can you talk about what it was like there in those original days? How often were you uploading? What was your growth like initially to where you got all these followers?
Yeah, it was a while. It was the Wild West, right? So right now I have about over 700,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And initially I was trying to be really polished. If you watch my very, very first video, it's in the studio, there's a green screen or something. And, you know, I wasn't able to be consistent. And I had a mentor, a guy named Elliot Hulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Elliot was one of the first guys to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And what I noticed is Elliot was kind of just throwing shit up. It really looked like he just filmed himself, took the SD card out the camera and just uploaded it. No editing or nothing.
It looked like he was holding the camera, facing the sun right after a workout. You remember what I'm talking about? He's facing the sun right after a workout, and he's just like feeling that workout pump. Because, dude, sometimes when you're a workout and you get that really good pump, or you're just like on that heavy, pre-workout or whatever, you start having these like thoughts of grandeur and just like these incredible business ideas. And he just takes his phone out, and you can just still see the workout on him, and he just starts filming, and the morning sun just blasted him right in the face. I remember those videos.
Yeah, that was Elliot. And then I thought, okay, he's not doing these high production things, right? So, I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was struggling, never broke. I was never broke. I want to be clear about that. I was struggling. I was never broke because I feel like as an adult male in a first world country, it is unacceptable to be broke.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. You don't have to, right? And we can talk about that more. But I bought this camera. I keep it next to me. I keep it here. This is called a flip camera. You might not, the viewers, they may not even know what this is, bro. But this is one of the first HD cameras that fit in your pocket. And I bought it off eBay for like $50 because the iPhone didn't do HD.
Yeah.
iPhone, it was just came out, as a matter of fact. And it didn't do HD video or anything like that. So I bought that and I just started doing videos that I can do consistently and just throw shit up.
Yeah.
I was just throwing shit up, man. Like in my apartment, working out, doing the ab workouts, giving advice. I would go outside to the park for better lighting and do it outside. And I just started throwing shit out. And what I would notice, especially back then, YouTube was really rewarding consistency. But I think it's that way now as well.
Yeah.
But at that time, it's just volume. You could just throw shit out there. And what I did was I don't know how much this works now. But what I was doing at the time, I learned search engine optimization.
Yeah, of course.
So YouTube is the second biggest search engine, on the internet. And the first one is Google, and Google owns YouTube, right? So they had that search algorithm down pat. So I would optimize my video for search, whether that was the title, whether it was the title or the description or just what I was talking. Here's what I did. Yo, Mike, here's what I did. I used a tool called Google Keyword Tool.
Yeah, of course.
You could see what people are searching for.
Did you watch those Alex Becker videos back in the day?
This was before Alex Becker.
Oh, it was before Becker. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There was no Becker. I think he was in the military at this time.
Yeah.
Right. It was before he was even rich.
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, I'll just do this. I'll just make videos about what people are searching for. And I just optimized the title and I just hammered them. And I got to the point where I was doing 2 videos a day. 2 videos a day, man. Well, 6 and 6. One at 6 a.m., one at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And it was just volume. It wasn't about trying to go viral. It was about having enough videos. Every video I looked at it, it was like a tentacle that would go out and grab somebody,
Yeah.
you know. So
it's an investment. It's going to keep getting views. I got videos from the early podcasts that are still getting views. I have a
video,
views. I have a video right now with 8 million views. It gets like 15,000 a week or something like that. It keeps just getting views. Each one is an investment. And now with these shorts, dude, that's the other part that's crazy. Like you can literally double or triple your view count just by putting up 7 shorts a week or 14 shorts a week of clips off your channel, and they're a completely different feed than they are your actual podcast. So yeah, there's all these different ways to grow. But yeah, that's really interesting that you're saying that about YouTube with your growth. You know what it was for me?
Shorts is crazy right now.
Yeah,
my fault. Shorts is a friend of mine, Ryan McGinn. So he does short form video for influencers. So he started with just TikTok, and he does it for Alex Hormozy, Layla Hormozy, Grant Cardone, Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter, me. And he was showing me Grant Cardone's analytics on YouTube. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. Well, you can. You know what? This is public knowledge. Yeah. You can go on Cardone's YouTube and just rank it by popularity.
Yeah.
Most views. Cardone has been on the internet for 10 years.
Yeah.
The highest videos are the shorts that were put out a few months ago.
That's crazy.
The most popular, you know what I'm saying? Like something that came out a few months ago is beating stuff that was up for 10 years, right? Shorts they're pumping that right now.
The platform is rewarding shorts. That's correct. And that just like with Instagram, to me, I see something between 50 and 100 to 1, how much more reward you get. But whereas before it was like, how beautiful could you make your grid and how consistently could you post these photos? And then later on with IG Story back in December 2017. And then now with Reels is just like, I know several people, Cody Sanchez, Brad Lee. These are people that just like weren't initially famous who are going out there, Ryan Stewart and Wes Watson, they're consistently posting these reels. And like the idea, I would have told you, dude, 2 years ago, if a guy came to me and goes, I want 100,000 organic followers as a man, I'm like, you don't have fake boobs, right? It's like, no, I don't know how you're going to get 100,000. I really don't know unless you are literally winning an NBA championship. I don't know a single way for you to get 100,000 real or have a number one hit single or just fucking start doing shout outs. I don't know a single organic way to do it. And now with Reels, I see it happening all the time. And so like I tell some guys before, they were like, oh, I'm trying to, Amazon FBA, or like, what's a great way for me to make money right now? I tell people, if you can make those 15-second short form contents, bro, you could get 70, 80, 90,000 a client per year if you did that, because people need that form of content. And we don't know how long this wave is going to last. I know it's going to last as long as Instagram feels threatened by TikTok. We're going to see Reels and Shorts consistently be promoted the way they are. You said something before.
That's the thing about social media. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. What I was going to say is
the thing about social media is when there's a wave, if you can catch it.
Yes.
You can really monopolize on it. For example, Facebook, when they first put out Facebook video, I read an article on TechCrunch. I always try to stay abreast of what's happening in technology, and because that's part of our industry, right? And I read an article that Facebook was really going to try to compete with YouTube for video. I don't think it really worked out for them.
No,
in retrospect. But
and they were making it.
Remember,
they were ripping advertisers off. They would have a 3-second swipe by, and they would count that as a view. You remember those original Facebook videos? And I was like, I got 70,000 views on a video of me at a club last night. It doesn't make any sense. And then you realize that those weren't real views, and Facebook eventually had to come clean about that. I remember that.
Well, some of them were real, because what you're saying is true. Yeah. But they were actually pumping it in the algorithm. They got so much more reach. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm doing 2 videos a day on YouTube. Let me put these natively, instead of the YouTube link, natively upload them to Facebook. This is not a good tactic anymore. This worked at the time. And my Facebook grew, honestly, from maybe 100,000 followers, fans on the Facebook fan page, to 1.5 million in a year. But it was good content, good workouts, and I was doing it consistently. But man, when they're trying to pump something, go with it.
Yeah,
you see them pumping something, do it.
I asked
ride it for as long as it can.
I asked Nick Kosmin, who was on here. He's a copywriter. I was like, if you could go back and tell yourself something 10 years ago that worked, what would it be? Like, what would you go? What piece of advice would you give yourself? And he said, when something worked, I should have 10x'd it. When something worked, I should have really triple, quadrupled down on that thing that worked while it was working. You'll find a lot of people who are making a boatload of money off Facebook ads because they can't do it that much anymore. But back then, when you were just like, it was the Wild West and you could make so much money. How about when Tai Lopez first started spending money on he was the first guy to go ham on those YouTube videos, like with the spends, where he's spending millions of dollars on advertising. Now you can't even do what he was doing. But at the time,
you can't do it the way you do it.
Yeah. But at the time, he spent every freaking dime he had to promote those videos to get 90, 100, 200 million views. And that's how he would end up. By the way, that was the other point I was going to try to make with the Elliot Hulse thing, right? You remember Tai Lopez? There's no cuts in that video with 91 million views. The one where it goes, hey, here we are in my garage. These are this is my Lamborghini. I'm here in the Hollywood Hills. Look at these books. What you need more is knowledge. When he does that video, that is one cut. I think he's doing it from an iPhone. He's definitely holding it with his hand. And
I know Tai. Like Ty's like one of my. I think you know Tai too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But Tai was like someone I consider like a mentor.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it was an iPhone.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch of good equipment. Like Tai was rich when he came to YouTube.
Yeah.
He said that the iPhone was better because it felt more real.
Yeah.
And they tested. That wasn't the only ad he shot. That's the one that worked.
Yeah.
Right. He shot some on like the big cameras, gimbals, Hollywood production shit. That was the one that worked. And he doubled down on it. Tai told me, to your point, one of the first things I learned from Tai, he said, when something's working, double down on it. Just double down and ride it out. A lot of times, especially entrepreneurs, you probably seen this with people, they something's working and then they have these great ideas. They want to do something else. Maybe they get bored. Maybe they just want dopamine. But when something's working, man, double down on it and keep riding until it doesn't work, because it's not guaranteed you're gonna find something that's gonna work again.
That I remember that social media marketing that program he put out. The entire thing was filmed on an iPhone. The entire thing, like, it was crazy. And he probably, I'm not kidding, $100 million he made off that program. Like, it was crazy what he was doing. And then you start to see this, and it's fun. Isn't it funny? Like, we keep bringing up these names, and if it was you, me, Dan Fleischman, Ryan Stewman, all these guys, if we're sitting in a room, Wes Watson, all these guys, Tai Lopez, Dr. Mayer, all these people, we all were influenced by the same people. And here's the other thing, like, it wasn't a scam. All of us ended up being successful. Almost every one of us ended up being successful in one form or another because we were willing to learn, and we were willing to learn from people who actually knew what the fuck they were talking about. It was just so interesting to me, like, how so many Greg O'Gallagher, all these guys, like, it was just incredible how all of us kind of learned what worked, and then we stuck with what worked. And I tell my clients this: I am a whore to whatever works. I am a whore, whatever works, bro. If this thing is working today, bro, if you tell me tomorrow that reels suck, guess what? I'm off reels like this, and I'm on whatever the new fuck-a-gram thing is in 2 seconds. I'm not even thinking twice about it. And that's the thing. A lot of people, like you said before, they don't want to double down on that thing. And the reason why is maybe they don't want to be known for that one video that they had that got 60 million views. They want to be known for something else, when really you could have built a business off that, right? And then later on, I mean, you're a great example as a trainer, and then now teaching people how to sell online.
Like, right, because the shit that works ain't gonna work forever.
Yes.
So I built the foundation of a multi-million-dollar business with this camera. That's why I keep it here. It's $50 camera. You can't put out content this trash anymore. Yeah. Like, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah. You can't just throw shit up. I was taking this straight out of here, no editing, maybe like just a quick intro, and just throwing it on YouTube, because I had to do 2 a day, and I had a job. I had a few jobs at the time.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. I want to get into that part. That part's amazing.
Yeah, but the thing is, we found something that worked, and we just double down on it until it didn't work, and then we move on to the next thing. We start searching for the next thing that works. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's critical,
dude. I'm about to turn 45, and like, I'm whatever trend. I don't care. We have a saying in MOA in my coaching program. Social media is fake, and I'm okay with that, but the money's real. So the money's real. So I don't care. I don't care that it's fake. Like, this idea that this is all genuine. No, it's not genuine, but the money's real. So I don't care that it was genuine.
It's funny when people say that, because, like, what is, right? Like, seriously, like, what is? Everybody, before social media, everybody was presenting their best. Yeah. They wasn't showing you their dirty laundry. They weren't showing you all their problems if you didn't know them well, right? Yeah. Everybody's it's always been like this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. Now, here's the thing. I want to talk about. I've never heard you talk about these things specifically in detail. Your early life, with your family. You grew up in Chicago or Wisconsin. Where did you grow up?
No, I grew up in Chicago.
In Chicago,
South side of Chicago.
Okay,
like the real South Side.
And then I've never heard about exactly why you went to military school, and then your time at Howard. Those are the things, and then obviously the situation.
Howard University.
Howard University, and in the situation with your father. Could you go into that early life? Because you lived in New York for a long time, but you grew up in Chicago. What was that all like?
So I grew up on the South Side of Chicago, and we didn't have a lot of money. I mean, you don't choose to live on the South Side of Chicago. Right. That's not anyone's preferred destination. So, we grew up. My dad and my mom, they were together, and they were amazing parents. I didn't see my dad a lot, even though he lived with us, because he was out trying to make it happen. He was trying to build his business. It's pre-internet. It's difficult, and his main thing was, he had his business, but he did all the sales, right? So he had to go around the country trying to make sales. And, we were struggling. The first time I had a gun put in my face, I was 5.
Yeah.
My mom was walking me to, preschool. I was 4 or 5. My mom was walking me to preschool, and the guy put the gun in my face to get my mom's purse, right? And this is like one of my earliest memories. Just to give you an example, this is just how we live in. And my mom was dropping me off before she got on the bus because she didn't have a car, right? My dad was still trying to figure it out, man. He was going hard. And, so that's the environment I grew up in. And, fast forward, I got in some trouble pre-high school, middle school. I mean, you become like the people you're around. You grow up in that environment, you want to adopt some of the traits.
For sure.
Right? So I got in some trouble, man. I mean, nothing crazy, like fights, skipping school, shootouts, normal shit. And then I get sent to military school. And it was weird. I was one of the few Black kids there, and definitely one of the few poor kids there. I think it was like a scholarship or some shit like that, right?
So this was a discussion that your parents had where like, we can't deal with this anymore, or did you get expelled from school? Is that like that what happened that caused you to go to military school?
It was more like, I was just on the wrong path.
It's so crazy because I grew up during the crack epidemic in East Dallas, and so down in the south, all southern cities, we were just infested with crack cocaine back then. And so while going there, I think the first time I had a gun in my face, I was 12. I was at a skating rink or something like that. Several times, there were shootouts at my school all the time. When this period of time happens, it was incredible. Like, now you talk about somebody bad, you're expelled from school. I remember kids bringing guns to school and then coming back at some point later. I remember, like, for real, I remember a time, Brandon, I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do. I'm just joking. Where you would go to a bar, you would get into a fight with someone, no one would call the cops, and you would come back the next night to go get your fucking credit card, and no one would say shit to you. I don't know. Yeah. I know that doesn't exist anymore. Maybe in like Nashville, it's different now. But it's extremely different now. I mean, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, there are circumstances that happen. I grew up around a bunch of drug dealers, and they would do some crazy stuff. But I never fully adopted that lifestyle because I knew I was going to go to college. I just knew that was the path for me. But then you said you go do this. You end up going to military school. Did you learn anything from it? What was the experience like?
The experience was strange, but I wasn't like resenting my parents, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It was the Army guys who ran it. They said that this was actually worse than the real military, unless of course you're in a war or something, right?
Yeah.
But because we had no freedom, it was more like a jail.
Yeah.
So it was a reform school, if we were being honest, for like bad kids.
Yeah.
And it was just, I didn't enjoy it. I had no freedom, and I was hungry all the time. I just felt like I didn't get enough food.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. But I had a life-changing moment, man. I had this roommate, and I remember his name was Corey Phillips, right? And he said, "Hey, man, you want to come to my house for the weekend?" He invited me. We were cool. I was like, "No problem, man." He lived in Wisconsin, because the military school was in Wisconsin, not in Chicago, to be clear. And it wasn't far. I was like, all right, it's no problem. This sounds cool. And I went to his house, man. And it was the first time I saw like a rich family. Like there was mansions, it was a mansion with a bunch of cars. And I never experienced that. It's different when you experience it. Like, it feels real, And in that exposure, it kind of just changed my perspective. I was like, wait a minute, people really live like this. It's not like TV. And then, I started just talking to his dad about like, how'd you do this here? And he was a doctor or some shit. And he went to college, and I was like, oh, maybe I should go to college.
Yeah.
I wasn't like you. I didn't like know I was going to college.
Yeah.
My dad was a high school dropout.
Yeah.
Right. And my mom, she didn't go to college. She grew up in the projects. So, it's just like you become like the people around. And my parents were good people. They just they don't have experience in higher education. So I never really thought about it. But then after seeing him, I was like, oh, that must be the path. And again, this is the 90s. Things are different now, right? But in the 90s, there was no internet. You better go to college if you want to make some money, right? And so that's when I started applying myself in school. And I got my GPA up really good. And I crushed the SATs, bro. I crushed that shit. But I took them high on LSD. This is not advice.
Wait a second. Hold on. Time out. Hold on. Let's reset. You crushed the SATs, but you were on LSD while you took the SATs. Go on, Brandon Carter.
It was an accident, Michael.
Okay.
I went to some. Sometimes I wouldn't want to go back to Chicago, the South Side. What do I want to go back to the fucking hood for, right? So the kids, the rich kids, I started hanging out with them a little bit more and hanging with them on the weekends. And then one weekend, SAT, they do it on a Saturday.
Yes.
So they said, okay, you guys can leave this weekend, but you got to be back for the SATs. And we were like, yeah, no problem. And we were just like, all right, we're going to fail this first time. No big deal. We'll take it a bunch of times and just take the best score. What the fuck else going to do? We're in military school, right? And I'll take this shit as many times as I need to. And so they took me to it was like a hippie concert. It was this band I never heard of until this day. It was called Fish. And I guess they were like the Grateful Dead light.
Yeah, Fish was big. Fish was big back then in the 90s. I remember this.
Yeah. So they took me to this stuff, to this thing. I didn't really know any of the songs, but I knew I wanted to do some drugs. So we, smoked weed, and we did LSD, right? And I come back, and I'm still on this shit.
Yeah.
LSD lasts for a while, man.
Yeah.
And we come back, no sleep, high on LSD. I'm like, all right, I'm just do this shit. It's obligatory. This is going to be trash. No worry. I'll take it again the following weekend. All right. And man, I don't remember the score off the top of my head, but I know it was like a crazy high percentage.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was like, well, shit, man, what happens if I do it sober? And I could not replicate those results.
Wow.
It wasn't bad, right? Because, it wasn't bad, but the first one, the LSD one was just tremendous.
Yeah.
It's not advice, kids.
Yeah. It's funny. That's really funny. So you get it. What made you decide to go to a traditionally black university, Howard University?
Okay. So I decided to go to Howard University for one reason. I got accepted to a bunch of schools, good schools. The Paul University. I thought about Michigan State because they won the Final Four. And a big reason I thought about Michigan State, because I thought, okay, listen, it's a big school and there's not as many black guys there. So all the girls who like black guys who maybe can't fuck the basketball players will have to settle for me.
Bro, you should.
Right? This was my thought process.
Hey, bro, you should have gone to UT Austin. I'm gonna tell you right now, you should have gone to UT Austin. The thing you're saying right now, you should have gone to UT Austin. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. You see where my head was at, right?
I know exactly where your head is at because I was in an all black fraternity at UT Austin. I'm telling you, you should have gone to UT Austin. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you still say that after what I'm about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
So my cousin, Chicago G, he was at military school with me. We both got sick. Yeah, he was older than me.
Yeah.
And he actually got kicked out the military school, but it was senior year, so they just mailed him his diploma. He went to Howard University. And he was like, yo, you got to come to Howard, man. There's 12 girls for every guy.
Yes.
And he said, that's not counting the fat guys or the gay guys, right? So it's way bigger than 12 to 1. And I'm like, all right. And it was just so much fun. And it was what he was telling me. So I got accepted to Howard University School of Business, and it's like a really good business school.
Yeah,
so I was like, fuck it. I'll go there for that reason. But it was an amazing experience, man. Howard was it was a lot of fun being at that school, and I learned a lot, man. You know, that Howard's Business School is tremendous. You know, I had the CEO of Verizon teaching one of my classes.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying?
Where is Howard located? What city?
It's in Washington D.C.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and Larry Ellison came by and taught a class a few times. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a billionaire teaching. It's the kind of shit that you're not going to get everywhere. You know? Yeah. It was a tremendous experience, man.
That's
now.
Awesome.
But let me tell you something. This is important. So remember, I told you my dad was working hard. I didn't see him a whole lot. We were tight, you know, but I didn't see him a whole lot because he was out grinding, trying to make it happen. Remember, high school dropout, right? He was an orphan. Like he never met his parents. Gang member growing up, and he was trying to figure it out. And we struggled, but he was going so hard, man. He was going so hard. By the time I'm out of college, by the time I'm out of high school, my dad was making $3 million a year.
Wow.
Right. And this is 1999, 2000. Adjusted for inflation, that's $7 million a year. Before the internet, before all of that. And it was just a testament. When I watched that, it was just a testament. So, if you put in that work, if you go hard, you can make something happen, you know? No matter where you come from, no matter what your race, no matter what your background, no matter how hard things are, you can make something happen if you're willing to put in the work and go hard enough. And I saw that. I saw that lesson from him, you know? And I didn't experience any of the wealth because I was away at military school by the time he started making money. And then I was away at college, you know? So the only real benefit I got is he paid for my college. I didn't have loans and shit, you know, because he was making money, man, you know? And by the time I was out of college, though, this is another lesson. He had fucked all the money up. Shit got really bad, and it just kept getting worse and worse until, you know, he killed himself in 2007. He shot himself in the head. And, you know, there's a lesson there too, right? Yeah. Just because you acquire money, just because you make it to the top, there's no guarantee you're going to stay there. Like, you can never take your foot off the gas. You can never get arrogant. You can never get lazy. You can never indulge in the fruits of your labor. You get what I'm saying? Some people get to the top or get to a level of success, and they stop doing the things that got them to be successful, right? They start indulging in the vices, right? You know, it's, you know, that was my dad. He liked to gamble. He had some other vices that I don't want to get into, and not drugs or anything. He didn't do drugs or drink. He just, he's.
I know what you're saying. Dude, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
he's a street dude who figured out to make some money, but he wasn't educated, right? Yeah. You know, so that was a lesson there, right? You got to keep doing what got you there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or even more. But you can't take your foot off the gas. Yeah, that was the lesson.
You talked about money management when you were on Fresh and Fit. I thought that was interesting, and this was the lesson, right? Because I have been at seven figures and lost all my money twice, and then come back a third time. I have done it 3 times, and I will tell you right now, for me, it was because I take massive. I work at a hedge fund. I was a quantitative analyst. I would take massive amounts of risk just because that's what I was used to doing, because the math made sense to me and there was no emotion involved. But you're right. It's like one of these things where it's like, I will bet you for your father, the way up had like, say, 100 units of good feeling, and the way down had 10,000 units of bad feeling. To lose a fortune, right? Could you imagine being, like you said before, Mike Tyson, Allen Iverson? Could you imagine being one of these guys who's lost $100 million, right? Like I don't know this for a fact, but I saw Floyd Mayweather doing like a teeth whitening product, and I'm like, oh no. Oh, did Floyd? Oh, why is he doing a teeth whitening product? They brought what's going on with Floyd?
You know what, man? You should ask your boy Brazilian about this. Yeah, right. I know your boys.
Yeah.
I don't know that Floyd is struggling. I think, man,
he just likes that money.
About him. He just, here's my theory.
Yeah.
If I see a penny on the floor, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Like I've crossed I've like walked in the street to pick up a penny because I want all the money. Right. But he might take that to another level. You know what I'm saying?
I hope that's what it is. I really do hope that's what it is, because I've seen him.
Well, here's the thing. I'm doing really well for myself, like multiple 7 figures a year. But sometimes somebody will be like, "Oh, I'll fly you and pay you to go here to do a speech," and it'll be only like 5K. And I think if I can get more, but fuck it, man, 5K to go, 5K to go talk.
Yeah.
And I'll just look at my time, what I got going on. Maybe I wanted to go there anyway. Maybe I would have spent money to go there in the future anyway.
For sure.
I'll take that. I'll take 5K for an hour. So maybe I don't know that. It also depends, right? What I got going on at the time.
Yeah.
But it seems like he'll jump on anything.
Yeah, it
is.
But
you should ask. I think your boy Dan knows him well.
Yeah,
you should ask him, man. I'd be curious. If he might just really, really love money. He'll do anything to get it.
That could be it. The idea of between like wealth and high income, right? Wealth is Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett's lived in the same house since like 1961. He drives a used car, and the guy's worth $200 billion. Whereas high income is a hip hop video, right? Where the guy has a bunch of money and then just loses you say the things about T-Pain, about how much money he lost, like just incredible amounts of money. Like I don't think human beings understand the capability of making money is limited, and the capability of spending money is unlimited. It is you could just get the wrong wife and go broke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro.
Yeah, and that's another reason.
Real quick. Yeah. How reckless is it that these guys are getting married without prenups?
Crazy.
Doesn't that sound insane? For a bunch of reasons, right? I don't plan on burning my fucking kitchen down, but I got a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Right. I don't plan on fucking up my body, but I got health insurance. I don't plan on dying, but I have life insurance, right? Like, why wouldn't you protect the downside? And then I think the worst part about it is, what kind of leverage do you have in a relationship if she knows you can't leave? And in fact, she's incentivized if you do leave.
That's incredible.
Like, how does that, think about that.
Well,
Just think about that for a minute. It's like now she has all the power because you have to, this is how you get that happy wife, happy life shit, right? Mm-hmm. Because now you have to make it work or you're going to lose half your shit.
Yeah.
Right? Well, no matter what, you got to, but here's the thing. If it's like, if you actually can just walk away with impunity, it's like, hey, it's not working out, then, and she doesn't get incentivized for you to break it up. She's not going to become a fucking multi-millionaire by breaking up with you. Then she's incentivized to make it work too, right? Because I just think you give them too much leverage.
How about this,
man? What are your thoughts?
How about this, man? With your kitchen, there's not a 56% chance your kitchen's going to burn down, right? There's not a 56, right? Am I wrong? But there's not, like, even for any kind of insurance, my car insurance, there's not a 56% chance my car is going to be totaled. But there's a 56% chance that my marriage is going to end. There is.
Would you buy a product that had a 56%
That's my point. Like, it's just crazy.
I'm not against getting married. Just like I can see utility in that, right?
Yes.
I can see how that can benefit your life, especially if you want to raise kids. Mm-hmm. That's probably the most appropriate environment for the children. However, it's like, man, she has all the power if you don't sign a prenup.
Yeah.
She has all the power because you can't piss her off to the point where she leaves because she's incentivized to leave.
Yeah.
She has all the power in the relationship.
It's funny that you say that because 80% of divorces, coming from your boy Myron, 80% of divorces are initiated by
women, right? I mean, because if you don't have a prenup, she's incentivized to leave. Right. Especially if you're a guy like me or you or like our friends. Right. That's a come up. Like, we're targets for shit like that. So how the fuck? I don't know, man. I think it's fiscally irresponsible and reckless to get married without a prenup. I don't want us to speak against marriage 100%. I can see some utility. I can see how that can be, but without a prenup, man, the fuck is you doing?
Yeah,
you have
to have incentive for both people to work at it because so I'll use an example. I had Jay Cutler on here a couple months ago, and Jay Cutler doesn't look like today like he did when he was competing because that was an extra physiological level of training and supplements that he was on for him to be that low level of body fat and to look like a fucking superhero, right? So it's not the natural state to look like that. That's what monogamy is. It's not the natural state. Just like Jay has to keep lifting to look like that, monogamy, you have to have two people that keep working to make monogamy work because there's no example in the pre-Pleistocene epoch or anywhere in the anthropological record to show that monogamy was the natural state for Homo sapiens. In fact, there are 5,000 species of mammals on this planet, and only 3% of them actually have any kind of pair bonding whatsoever, much less the 10 to 20 to 50 years that we do as Homo sapiens. This whole idea, you know the story they always tell where the one penguin brings the other penguin the rock and then they're pair bonded. You remember the pebble? Have you ever seen that story? Okay, guess what? That same male penguin, he brings a different girl a rock the next year. Like it's not, it's only, he's pair bonded for 1 year. Like it's these weird stories that we want to believe in soulmates and forever after. And I understand that personally. I think because it's much easier to control a society when you have two mortgages and you have kids' college education to pay for than it is when people are single. And so I understand why society, if you ever go to the Macomb School of Business at UT Austin, in front of the business school, there's a statue of a family, a mother, a father, and a child. The family unit is the basis of our economy. I understand as an economy that wants to encourage consumerism, you would need for the family to have two cars with multiple mortgages and credit cards. That's what you need in order to fuel the society. I have no problem with that. I just choose to not play. I just choose a different path. There's nothing wrong with if you want to do that. I just choose a different path. I want to make my own decisions, and I don't want anyone to be able to have control over me like that.
That's a fact, man. You know, and because it's probably not natural. Like I agree with you. I don't know enough about,
marriage
mammals. I don't know enough about mammals in general. I'll just take your word for it. You sound pretty well versed on the subject. But let's take that for what it's worth. Let's say that that's the truth. So if you wanted to make it work, each side has to be incentivized to make it work. But if you have one side incentivized, who's literally incentivized for it not to work, who's actually going to come up if it doesn't work, I don't see how that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at human motivation and absolutely everything you do. That's definitely the case.
Because especially if it's not natural, then that means it's harder. Just because other animals don't do it, don't mean we can't. Well, we do a lot of shit other animals don't do. Build houses, have societies, watch porn, go on Zoom, do Zoom podcasts. Like we do a lot of shit animals don't do, right? So, but if you want to do it, you got to be incentivized.
Well, here's the thing. Our species is around 300,000 years old, Homo sapiens, but yet marriage has only been around for 11,000 years. Right. Yeah. So it's not it, but we're taught when you grow up and you watch Disney, go to church and listen to your mom, you're taught that you have a forever soulmate, and this is the way things always were. I always bring up the point of like Romeo and Juliet. We think of it as like a romantic story of this like no, it's a dark comedy. William Shakespeare is making fun of these teenage kids who won't listen to their fucking parents and end up committing suicide because they're so stupid. That's the point of the play. People think the point of the play is just choosing true love. No, that was not the point for the Capulets and the Montagues. The point of the story was that their family had a better idea for them. They chose what their family didn't want, and they're dead. That was the point of the story. Like that's the whole point. So it's just one of these things where people imagine Cinderella has. And this is going to be real controversial, right? Cinderella has probably done more worse for relationships in this world than probably any single movie, because we've gotten to a point where people literally think they deserve happiness in a relationship and don't have to fucking work for it. That is what Cinderella has screwed so many of us up, men and women, because of this. There's also the idea of a soulmate. Bro, if you think this makes me so angry, bro. What about kids in Africa who grow up without a limb? Where's their fucking soulmate? How about kids who grow up with spina bifida and are dead by the age of 16? Where's their fucking soulmate? But you get a soulmate because you grew up, middle class in North America and you got to watch Disney movies. That's why you get a soulmate. It's just ridiculous, bro. To me, it's like you get what you deserve. That's why when I have a conversation with you, like whenever I talk to wealthy people that used to be poor, I can always have this conversation with them because they're like, yeah, that destiny shit isn't real. What's real is that I worked my ass off and then I made a bunch of money and now I'm happy. That's the truth. Yeah. And then that's why I also have a big problem with that. Oh, The Secret, bro. The Secret has made so many fake entrepreneurs who just think that they're literally going to manifest millions of dollars. And I'm like, oh, bro, I want you need to work for this. And it's just very difficult. It's very difficult. Sorry, man, to get sidetracked there, but I just,
it's cool, man. Like man, I'm feeling everything you say. Yeah. Bro. Like I was captivated just now. It's there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
One more thing about this marriage.
Yeah.
if you don't have a prenup, you know about pickup, you lose the frame, right? Because now you want her so bad because you're gonna lose half your shit.
Yes.
Right. So that's how these guys lose the frame in a relationship and they become punks. You know, you need to be willing to walk away at any time. If it's appropriate. For example, I saw the new Batman movie, the latest Batman movie, right? And at the end, he's talking to the cat chick, and she's like, "Yo, why don't you stop being Batman and come to this other city with me, and we'll live another life, do cat shit." And Batman didn't even say nothing. He just kind of looked at her, and she's like, "Yeah, I get it, right?" And he let her walk away. Right? Yeah. He let her walk away. They went off in different directions, and it hurt him, but it's the right decision. You know, sometimes you have to do that in order to fulfill your purpose or do what you're here for, right? Yeah. If you're in a situation where you have to comply to this woman, you know, you have to capitulate to her, all her demands and all her requests, even if it goes against something you really believe in. Then when you lose the frame, right? You lose the frame. Now she becomes the prize, and you know you're familiar with pickup. You know how that's going to work out. Yeah, as far as attraction goes, you know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, willingness to walk away is just it's paramount. You both sides have to have that, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you're dating a very, very attractive woman, the day you guys break up, she has 3 orders of magnitude more options than you do. She does. She can just literally, all these dudes have been sliding her DMs the whole time. Unless you're dating, Brandon Carter, you have more options than she does, or you have more options than your boyfriend does. So yeah, you're for real. That is essentially what happens. She always has the inherent ability to walk away. Whereas for you as a man, it's difficult. And if you don't have that because you don't have these other things built up in your life, I just can't imagine like how bad, because again, guys, I know this is gonna sound really bad, but like if you think about this in a vacuum, I'm gonna get on a knee, right? This is not the super most alpha position in the world, publicly to take one major fraction of my yearly income and to put it into an inanimate object, a diamond, and then give it to her publicly so that if she does anything to embarrass me, everyone's gonna know about it. Right. And I've heard, I'm not going to say this publicly. Okay. I'm not going to say that I said this, but I've heard someone else say this. It's like, once you propose marriage, you're spending the rest of the relationship trying to get back the frame. Right. Because you just start, because that is kind of where the frame. So here's the thing. As if I was going to get married, it would be a situation where I know she was completely down for me and wanted to get married. If this is a situation where this is where guys mess up, it's like, I almost got her, but the way to get over the edge is to put a ring on it. That is like what Beyonce, what Beyonce said, that is the worst possible frame. It's like, I couldn't quite get you, but if I put a ring on it, now I've got you. Now I have no ability to walk away. And we're back to square one, where we talked about before, because it's not attractive for a woman either to be with a man who can't walk away. That's not fun for her either.
She doesn't want that.
She doesn't want that. Exactly. Yeah. This is not like a one side, but one side has to win in order for the other side to lose. Like, I think men would have a more enjoyable experience being an alpha male, and women would rather date one. So I think it's beneficial for both sides.
And both sides should have autonomy, where they actually choose to be together.
Yes.
I think now listen, I'm not qualified to give relationship advice given my history, but I just from what I know about, human behavior, if you choose to be together instead of being coerced or forced, then that's a stronger bond, because then you made that choice.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You made that choice instead of being forced to. It's like when you force a kid to do something, they'll do it reluctantly, but as soon as you walk away, they're going to stop, right?
Exactly.
But if they want to do it, if they choose to do it, that's stronger,
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, by the way, I take relationship advice from people who are happy, not people in a relationship. Just a piece of advice I'll give you. Anybody who's happy, the relationship or not, if you're happy, I'll take relationship advice from you. If you're not happy,
I got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And this is something, I got booed when I was on Fresh and Fit by the audience, but it's not booed literally, but the chats, they were clowning me for this. And, I get it's a lot of young guys in this, but I was saying that, I said a few things that they found controversial.
Yeah.
And one of them was, I think you should really decide if you're going to be a player or you're going to be in a relationship, because if you're out here with a girl and you're cheating, then you're lying. You're lying to her, right?
Yeah.
So here's, if you're lying to her, Well, what is lying? You're telling someone, you're deceiving someone because you're afraid
Yes.
of how they'll react. Cowardly. I don't think there's any way. I don't think there's any way that you can say otherwise with integrity, right? Like that's cowardly.
I don't think that fits into my personal definition of masculinity, having to lie to a woman to have sex with her.
Exactly.
Just my personal opinion. Yeah.
Exactly. So the real G's will be like, I mean, like we both know some real players, some real G's. They just say, hey, though, this is what it is. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You down with it? If not, that's cool. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. But if you are cheating and lying to people, deceiving people, that's cowardly. I think that's wildly cowardly. And it's actually adds a lot of stress to your life.
That is
and it's going to make it difficult for you to accomplish other goals because now you have to worry about your phone or hiding stuff, and it's going to bring chaos into your life, you know, and you won't feel good about yourself from just an energetic level. It's you just won't feel good about yourself if you're lying like that, you know. It might feel good, but it's whack, and I can't get over it. It's cowardly. It's just it's a punk move.
It's not the cheating. It's the lying, right? So for me,
it's the lying.
I started doing I started stating openly on this podcast that I tend to date women who are extremely attracted to women. And when I did that, it was like you would expect there would be a bunch of heterosexual women that are like, that's offensive. I can't believe you said that. What actually happened, Brandon, was a bunch of women who were bisexual started hitting me up and like realized like because that to me, that's equilibrium for me. I don't want to be a player. I want one girlfriend and then we occasionally see other women together. That to me, that's what my equilibrium is. And I'm so fucking completely honest when I say that women, like I started getting approached by women. I was shocked that were like, I want to come on the podcast. I love this video. I did one video called Threesomes 2.0 with Coffee and Cleavage. And after that, I started getting women. So here's the thing. What do guys think? The cowardly thing. If I tell the truth that I want to be with multiple women, you're going to leave me or you're going to have other men sleep with you. And that's the thing I'm afraid of. Whereas if you actually have the status, the willingness to walk away, and you tell the truth, you would be shocked at the results that you can get. Here's the other thing, Brandon. Some girls that I was seeing that were completely heterosexual, they were fine with it too. That was the part that like blew my mind. The thing that made the most sense wasn't my relationship status. It was that I was telling the fucking truth. That was the thing that made the most sense. So what I say again, for women, the cheating is the lying. For men, the cheating is the penetration. Right? For us, it's like, oh, you went and talked to your ex back at home in high school. Did you fuck him? No? Okay, cool. Let's go play Xbox. But it was for a woman, she's like, oh, you held hands with your ex and you guys might be in love. You cheated, you fucking bastard.
You had a conversation.
You had a conversation with your ex. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, I didn't fuck her. It was like, oh, I don't care. It's like, you're going to leave me.
But that means a lot. That means something to them, right?
For sure.
You know,
of course.
and
evolutionarily. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's reasons for that. You got Dr. David Buss behind you. You know, there's a difference between that, right?
Yeah.
He goes into great detail. But just lying is just coward. You a punk, man.
Yeah.
You a punk. And the second thing that got me in trouble with their audience, is I was talking about the benefits of not being a player. Like I've done this international Playboy shit. Like you've known me for a while. You know stuff. And I have this thing it's mental RAM. A neuroscientist would call it like cognitive load.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a computer and you have too many programs running, what happens? Right?
Yeah, you start
slows
losing.
down.
Yeah,
it starts down. It might crash.
Or Dunbar's number. Have you heard Dunbar's number? You can only keep 150 names or people in your head at one time.
Yeah. Because of the evolutionary tribes and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you have all these different programs running in your head, and it can be like projects or just multiple women managing all of that, it can be done. But it's such a distraction. Not just time. It's not just the time, but it's certainly the time. But it's also managing all of that.
Yes.
And there, I saw your boy Brazarian on More Plates, More Dates.
Yeah.
Right. And they talked about this, and he said it was a waste of time, and he's so much less productive as a result of that. I don't want to misquote him.
No, but did you hear his video about you when he was talking? So More Place, More Dates did a video, or Derek from More Place, More Dates, he did a video about you after you did the TRT thing.
Yeah,
and he talked about one of the negative side effects, and we can talk about this in a little bit, is the libido. Yeah. It's insane. Like I'm just gonna be honest with you. You were like, oh, it's a negative side effect. No, it's like I want to have sex with my girlfriend 4 times a day. It's crazy. 6 times a day if she'd let me. And it's one of these things where it's like, oh, well, it comes to a point. He's like, I had to handle business more often, right? And you were talking about it, dude. It does get in the way. It absolutely. It's fun bench pressing 375 pounds. It's also crazy the way, like, every time you just get triggered and you lose focus. So that is a real thing that you talked about. Your libido, as far as,
it can get out of hand. You know, and
there is an upper limit to it, right? You can't get to a point where there is too much. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think, from a productivity standpoint, if you can put that in one place. But there is the problem with that is, though, men have 10, women have 10% of the testosterone.
Yeah. So on a woman, we were talking about, the levels might be from 40 to 60 free testosterone deciliters per. Picograms per deciliter. Don't yell at me, Derek. And then I think 140 at that point, you're like too high. And if a man is over at like 140, you might give him an estrogen blocker, AI, right? And then for a man, our normal levels might be from 300 to 800. Like when we're 18, 19 years old, it might be 900. And then higher level would be like Deontay Wilder. He's at 1100 natural. It's very, very fucking rare that you find that. But most of the people, like Jake Paul said, he was at 600, 500 is kind of a normal place. Jay Cutler's at 500. Right now, because I'm on TRT, I'm at about 900. So that's generally the areas. But yes, it's about 17 times as much. Men have about 17 times as much testosterone as women do. And as a result, men are 90% stronger in their upper body and 50% stronger in their lower body than women are. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing or we're better than women. It's not a function of that. It's a function of evolution. We as men have to compete with other men for women. That is essentially what happens. Whereas a very beautiful woman, what does she have to compete? To some extent, she has to compete, but she brings her value with her. Just like a good basketball team takes the defense with them on the road. A very attractive woman is very attractive in New York. She's very attractive in Los Angeles. She's very attractive in Miami. She doesn't have to like reestablish her attractiveness wherever she goes. Whereas a man, we have to always be competitive with other men in attraction towards women, and we will always be judged on our performance until the day we die.
Until the day you die, you're always in competition. You're always in competition. I take issue when people say, "Oh, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people." I'm like, "Yo, but everyone else is." Right?
Well, but if you want that girl or that 7-figure income, you do have to. I'm sorry, like internally, if you want to be like power of now and just be in the present moment, okay, then don't compare yourself. But if you do want the McLaren, you will have to compare yourself. I'm sorry. It's just a function of like, you have a program, he's got a better program. You didn't want to compare yourself. Now you have no money and he has all your clients because you didn't want to compare yourself to other people. The fact of the matter is, as a man, you're going to be judged on your performance for the rest of your life. There's no special snowflake. She didn't break up with you. Your mom says, she broke up with you because she didn't understand what a special snowflake you are. She wasn't good enough for you, Brandon. That's why she cheated on you, because she cheated on you because a dude had a yacht in Biscayne Bay. Yeah. That's why she cheated on you, bro. Because
she thought she might have some better options.
She has some better options.
I don't know. Let's see.
For sure. That's why it happened. Yeah, she's fine. Dude, she's just fucking fine right now. She's not suffering because she cheated on you. She's good. Yeah. So what you do is you get stronger, make more money. That's what you do. And you don't worry about her. There's no revenge. You're not going to get revenge. There's no karma. There's no revenge and there's no karma. You just do better. You just keep building a bigger building and get a better training program, and you make more money. You make a bigger scalable program. And all of a sudden you get a message from your ex. All of a sudden, hey, how you been? It's like, I haven't talked to you in 6 years. What happened to you?
You know what you're saying? This is, I don't know if I ever spoke about this publicly, but it's something I always thought. I looked at the way women respond to me as kind of, I don't want to put this wrong. I don't want to misarticulate myself. I really feel like it's data. Right. Yeah. So, for example, if when I was single and I had a girl and she flaked on me, right? It happens to everybody, right? For the most part. Well, maybe not everybody. Maybe she's not. Okay, here's the thing. Even if it's something real, even if it's something like legit, oh, this happened with my mom or something.
Yeah.
Even if it's real, I would think to myself, would she have figured out a way to show up if I was Drake?
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, if I was Devin Book,
yeah,
would she show up? Right. So it's like, it's not the circumstances, it's my relationship to the circumstance. Okay, I need to improve. Right. And not to say you want to compare yourself to, okay, I am comparing myself to them, but you know, that's a very high bar.
But
right?
bro, but hold on.
Drake.
Hold on. If you get 10% or 1% of what
Exactly.
Drake's wealth is, you're still in the top 1% of men on the planet. Like, that's the thing.
Right.
Like, you guys understand, the top 1% of wage earners in the United States make $454,000 a year. That's what you make. So if you make more than that, you're in the top 1%. Forget about being where Drake is. You make that much money a year, you're already in the top 1%. That means there is a ferocious number of women competing for you. You don't have to actually be Drake. You understand what I'm saying? It's a vector. Because I have Bilzerian on here and I have people ask me about him all the time. And I'm like, we're not going to be Dan, but there's certain lessons that he learned that we can learn from him. And then we can attribute those things to our life. Because like in the military, I used to fly for a living. We have a vector. I'm going in this direction. We're not getting to Hugh Hefner. We're not getting to Jeff Bezos, and we're not getting to Warren Buffett, but we're going in that direction. And that's fine. As long as we keep going the direction of abundance, more, better, and improvement, then we're going to feel better. And by the way, that's what our ancestors did. They didn't sit in the cave and feel sorry for themselves. They got out with the fucking spear. They killed the meat. Can you imagine the dopamine response, the serotonin and the dopamine feeling, Brandon, if you and me have a big fucking gazelle on our shoulders and we're bringing it back to our starving fucking tribe? Can you imagine what that would have felt like? Cheering for us 50,000 years ago. There's probably no equivalent feeling that we can feel today to that. That's what your ancestors did. And now you're sitting there wondering about like why you're sad because you've been on your phone all day because you didn't kill shit. Because you didn't kill shit. That's the reason why.
That's well said. That's well said. You know, and so I would look at stuff like that. Okay, she flaked because of this. Okay,
yeah,
she says this, but would she have done that to everyone? All right, man, I need to improve, right? But with a lot of the guys who are in the red pill community, and not all of them, just there's a segment, they would just get mad at the girl.
For sure.
Fuck that bitch. Fuck this bitch. It was like, no. It's just data, man. It's just data. It's just data. You know, there was this girl I was dating, and she cheated on me, man. She cheated on me, right? You know, and I looked at it. I didn't get mad at her. I was like, okay, shit happens, you know. And it was a dude. He didn't have enough much money as me, right? From what I gather, right? Who knows? Right? But he had way more followers, right? So it's like she was a cloud chaser.
Bro, I wouldn't even give up. Bro, I would send her that. I would put her right next to the fire hydrant on the streets. I wouldn't give 2/10 of a shit. If it was for that, bro, could you imagine me if a girl left me for a legitimate, bro, I had one girl leave me because I wouldn't pay for her cocaine and the next guy would. Go, girl. I'm telling you, bro, I'm putting you right next to the mailbox. That's where you belong on them streets. I don't give a shit.
Right.
If it was a legitimate reason,
I wasn't like chasing.
No, I know, but like if it was because I was dishonest to you and I lost a good woman, I would feel terrible. But I lost you because this dude wants to has more Instagram. Hold on, before you go on, please keep that thought because I need to put a little warning out here. Okay,
I need to clarify this.
I don't want to be a hater, so I'm not going to say their names. There's 3 dudes, probably more, here in Vegas right now, bought a social media following. Two of them bought blue check marks, then started OnlyFans accounts and literally go to women in Las Vegas and say, if you have sex with me on my OnlyFans account, I will get you a bunch of new subscribers. By the 2nd or 3rd video, once the girl realizes she has no new subscribers, she's so embarrassed by the fact that she fucked a dude for his OF following that she's not gonna tell anybody. And she's even more embarrassed because she got duped. So she doesn't tell any of her friends and these guys just keep rolling over and doing it over and over again. And it's crazy because here's the other thing. Wow. If I were to snitch on these dudes, the girls don't listen. They never listen. They don't want you to save them. Man. So it's this horrible, fucked up situation that ends up happening where these girls, like if a girl wants to go get with a dude for his following, go do it. That's fine. It's not it's do your thing, but I'm not worried about losing you. You weren't something to be lost.
To your point.
Yes.
So she was in LA and she was like, oh, I'm about to collab with this dude or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it was something weird about it. There's more to it than what I'm saying. So just know that.
Bro, this exact thing happened to me. Keep going.
Yeah, and I'm like, I was like, nah, I don't want you to do that. And then she said she was doing it anyway. All right, cool. Then we done. Right. So saying she cheated, I dumped her before she cheated.
Right.
Because she I walked away. Right.
Yeah.
But I still felt, if I didn't, I still say she cheated because I felt like she would have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Who's to say that wouldn't happen? Right. But instead of getting mad or thinking, fuck her, right? I'm not fucking with her, obviously, right? But it's data, right? It's data. It's if would she have done if she was dating your boy, Dan Brazilian?
Yeah.
Would she fuck a dude? Would she leave him? And he was serious about. He was trying to be serious about her, and like she wanted to be with him. Would she leave him for a dude with 1 million followers?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Yeah.
I don't know. If Drake told her, "Nah, don't do that," would she still do it? Would Drake still have to dump her? I think I don't know.
I think the problem with those situations with Dan and with Drake specifically is that I don't think these women expect like a long-term relationship. I think what would be better is like a really successful guy like yourself who offered an actual stable monogamous relationship, and then might she leave, then that might be an issue. But I've seen that happen so many times, bro. I just and it's disappointing, but here's the thing, right? If you want to complain about the fact, I said this on a previous podcast, 10% of men are getting 60% of the right swipes on Tinder. If you want to complain about that, there's a great forum to do that. It's called the Incel Forum. Go complain all you fucking want. You're not going to change human behavior, and it's been like this since the time of fucking Ramses, okay? So you can complain all you want. My whole thing is, if you want to become that 10%, it's called join fucking go follow KingKeto or come join Men of Action Group or go over there or get the movie star body or whatever Gregor Gallagher is doing or do whatever. That's how you get in that top 10%. You go choose to get in that top 10%, right? So that's the thing for me. I know you and I are never going to change human behavior. So I'd say you can't beat them, then join them.
Let's work with it. It was data. I was just like, okay, this is the area where I can improve. Right.
Yes.
And that might be weird. And some guys might look at me and be like, Brandon's, I mean, I dumped the girl before she cheated. I wasn't simping.
Yeah.
But I just looked at it like, okay, this is an area where, I can improve. And I'm always, me for long enough, I'm always looking to improve.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm trying to optimize every area. I'm like, okay, so maybe, I'm a single guy dating these hot models, Instagram girls. Only if this is my target market and this is what they value, then okay, let's strengthen that area.
Sure.
I don't know. That's weird. A lot of guys may feel like that was weird. But I always look at it like when a girl does anything, I don't forgive her or save her, especially if it's shady, right? But I take that data and say, okay, what does this mean and how can I improve my life in that? And I'm like that with everything, customers, clients, okay, why did this happen? What can I do better to prevent this from happening? I guess that's the thesis statement. How can I improve myself to improve situations like this to either mitigate them or prevent them in the future, right? But it's always me.
Yeah.
Everything is me.
By definition, Red Pill is a theoretical framework. And so you and I are living actual experimental lives, right? So our lives are, we started a business, a 7-figure business, and the business became scalable, and we date multiple beautiful women. We're living this, so I didn't go search for Red Pill stuff. Red Pill guys are looking at us, and so and again, I have complete empathy for them, but in their situation, they're looking at your situation. They haven't lived your life where they've had this level of success, so they can't come to the same conclusions that you've come to. Instead, it's very easy for them to have a very binary way of thinking, which is women are the enemy, can't be friends with any of them, they're all bad, their evolution is just to hurt us, and we live in a femme-dominant society. And I'm like, well, women are the way they are. I just like the way things are. I'd rather just know the truth. That to me, that's it. I don't hate women.
There is no
good
or bad.
There is no good or bad.
There is no good or bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the way thing is, and how do you position yourself to succeed under those circumstances? I think about that with everything. I don't vote for that reason.
Yeah.
And it's not advice. But I just don't want to convince myself that I can control the world.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a weird thing. I'm just like, whatever happens, I'm going to find a way to win under those circumstances. That's really it. Just how I look at the world and life. Whatever happens, I'm going to find a way to succeed under those circumstances. And it's me. It's not Trump, not Joe Biden. None of these motherfuckers are going to help me. There might be things that may be more beneficial.
That no income tax in Florida is probably not too bad, is it?
Hey, come on, man. You know, listen, I find a way to win.
Yeah.
Right. I don't complain about stuff, right? You know, New York tax, you know, just got to the point where I was like, all right, this is I'm making too much money. I'm not making a amount of money where it's like, all right, it's too much to give away. So I just moved. I didn't complain or cry though. I just moved. Right. You know, you find a way to win under any circumstances.
Hey,
and that's just but it's me though. I don't try to change shit. I don't try to change anyone. I change me. I improve myself. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely. I want to clear something up because you do call yourself a narcissist sometimes in some of your videos, and we do some videos. So I've had Dr. Buss on, I've had some therapists on, and we talk about cluster B personality disorders. I do not think you're a narcissist. I think from the standpoint of like, do we all have some level of narcissism in us? Yes, we have to, or else you'd never merge into traffic and you would never get in line. You'd let everybody skip you in line. Of course, we have some level of it. But the fact of the matter is, you were talking about you talk to your son every day during the pandemic on FaceTime. You had a friend of yours that you were checking on that ended up committing suicide. You talked about this before, and you genuinely cared about him. You give business advice for free when you were on Fresh and Fit. These are not typical. You talked about the integrity of not lying to women. These are not the typical behaviors of somebody with a cluster B personality disorder. So I just want to clear this up. I do not believe you have NPD. I do not believe you're a narcissist.
That in jest.
No, I understand.
I say that it's in jest.
I just remember when I first heard that because I've done so many videos on actual fucking narcissists. When I heard that, I was like, I don't think you don't seem like you have a cluster B personality disorder. So that's just something I wanted to bring up.
I don't think a real narcissist would joke about that.
Right.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But I have a big ego, right? You know, I do think that I think very highly of myself, but it's not for no reason. It's accurate. You know, you come from nothing. Again, my dad's story, we came from nothing, then we went back to nothing. He made some money, then we went back to nothing. Probably worse than nothing, because now I got a dead dad and I got to start over, you know, like, and during this was during the Great Recession, you know, and I had a college degree, but there were college graduates working at Starbucks during that time. It was
crazy.
Like
I remember that.
You know, it was a difficult time. And, you know, from that, built a multi-7-figure business, you know, not everybody can do that. But it comes from, I think confidence comes from competence, right? Like,
of course.
If I tried to fly a jet, right? I never flew a jet, right? So if I was confident about my ability to fly a jet, I think that would be delusional, right?
Yeah.
You know, but if you flew fighter jets, right?
No, I didn't fly. I was KC-135, but I have some fighter pilots that come on the show. Yeah.
God, you know how to fly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you fly a plane, you'd be confident about that because
for sure.
It makes sense for you to be, right?
Yeah.
You have the competency to back that up, where I don't. It'd be ridiculous for me to be confident in that regard, you know? So I think if you have a level of skill and belief in yourself and your ability to do things, I think that's where confidence comes from. It's not something you can fake.
So let's talk about the multiple 7-figure business that you mentioned before. So you talked about your dad teaching you how to sell when you were very young, and then also now you have a course where you teach personal trainers how to scale their business and sell online. Can you go into that? First off, you know, the idea for the scaling of the business, and then also what are the techniques that you learned as far as how to sell?
Oh, for sure, man. You know, again, my dad was a salesman, and I just picked up so much from being around him. Like sometimes, you know, my mom had to work on the weekends because, you know, we were struggling. So when my dad was around, I would have to just go to the office with him. I had to be in there hearing him on sales calls. So I picked up a lot of stuff just there, you know, playing with my G.I. Joes while he was doing sales. And, you know, he was real successful at it. And, you know, when he killed himself, I was a personal trainer. You know, I wasn't really taking life that serious. And I was doing some stuff we don't, beyond the scope of this kind. I was in a bad state. Like when my dad killed himself,
of course.
I was doing some stuff I shouldn't be doing. I don't want to go into it, but you know, that same month, one of my friends got, you know, he got sent. He's doing life in prison for double homicide.
Yeah.
And I got another friend who he was murdered. You know, my boy Esco, they found him in his car, murdered in New Jersey, and I was just like, okay, I'm around these guys. We doing some stuff that we shouldn't be doing. And now I got to take care of the family. I don't know what to do, right? I'm the man of the family, and I'm 24 years old, right? And All right, so I was like, okay, how do I figure this out? First of all, I got to take care of my family. I can't complain. I don't have time to grieve. I got to figure this out. So, I would wake up. I started waking up at 4, training people in the morning in person. Then I would take the train from Harlem to Soho and work security. I worked security at the Prada store for about 8 hours. Then I would work for my boys' moving company after that. So these are like 14-hour days, depending on how long the moving went. And then on the weekends, I train people in the morning, and then I managed my boys' restaurant in Astoria, Queens on the weekends. So and I did this for like 2 years, right? And I was trying to figure out how to go online, because I got the idea, I need to make some real money. This is killing me working all these hours. Luckily, I was young enough to be able to put it in.
I can't imagine a moving company and the Prada store and managing a restaurant. When I heard that story, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was intense, man. Like it was a dark period of my life, right? Dealing with the grief, but also that life. It was I just had to take care of my family. We had to figure something out. And I just feel like being broke is unacceptable. I don't care if it's the fucking recession. I don't care if it's the Great Recession. If you're a healthy man in a first world country, you got no business being broke, because we got advantages that women don't have. We can do labor. Like there's no job. We can do labor. We can do more dangerous jobs. I wish there was Uber at that time. I wish there was DoorDash. I get why some women don't want to drive Uber all night. I get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dangerous. Yeah.
But we can do shit like that. We can work construction. I've worked constructions. We can build shit, right? So we just got, I don't know, man. You're just lazy, man. You're just lazy. You're not really putting in that effort if you broke. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Especially now, man. The average Uber driver makes 80 grand in New York.
That's crazy.
80 grand, right? Just fucking drive around all day.
That's
I wish I
crazy.
had that option.
Crazy, yeah.
I wish I had that option.
While you're listening to audiobooks and educating yourself. Bro, I completely agree. Yes.
Bro, that would have been fantastic.
Absolutely.
But I didn't have those opportunities that you kids are complaining about. So, and I did that, and I was like, okay, how do I go online? I didn't know how to do it. And I was trying to figure shit out. I have a marketing degree, but it was pre-internet, right? So they didn't teach us none of that. I don't even know if they teach it now. And I was trying to figure it out, reading some books, and I was putting out some stuff. I was making some progress. Then I met Elliot, right?
Yeah.
Elliot Hulse. And he kind of really helped me, figure some of this stuff out. He gave me some advice, right, that really helped. But the main thing was I just saw it was possible. Oh man, this is a guy who he did it. That was the main thing I got, right? So then I started building the business. I started figuring. He gave me some tips to help, and I was able to quit the moving company, which was the first one I wanted to pick. Right?
Yeah.
Quit. Then I was able to stop working at the restaurant when I started making more money. Okay, cool. Then I was able to stop working security. And I kept that one for last because I had health insurance, right? And then I was still training people in person and going online. So I was starting to make it happen. I wasn't balling, but I was doing all right. I never struggled. I was never broke my whole fucking life. I don't care what happens, because I would just work. I'll work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years. As I told you,
yeah,
like being broke is unacceptable, right? So anyway. So I was doing all that shit and I was figuring it out. And then I met another mentor, a dude named Matt Gallant, who actually ran parts of Elliot's business.
Yeah.
Now Matt has he's got a supplement company called Bio Optimizers. He's doing like over 10 million a year now, right? But he mentored me. I paid him to mentor me, to teach me some of the stuff, and that's what got me. That was the point I started getting to my first 7 figures. After that, after paying Matt, a bunch of money to mentor me. And then, I started figuring out how to build this online business. I started doing other stuff. I started managing other influencers too, and helping them. I would take guys who were big influencers and I would manage their business. So all they had to do was influence, because I was learning this stuff. And at that time, it was Owen Cook, from RSD.
Of course.
Who I considered a real mentor then. I saw what he was doing with the RSD business model.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a way to do it. And I saw what was possible. Right. Again, that's another thing. Sometimes you got to see what's possible.
You just got to see what's possible. Yeah.
And I started doing that. and I made money from, I made other influencers millions building their business, like behind the scenes. Like a lot of people don't even know this because I wanted to let them be in front, we can do it, and that was very helpful. And, that was a headache for me, but I learned so much from, because one thing if I do for myself, but there's nothing if I can make other people millions.
That's
right?
Great. Yeah.
And that was kind of the first thing. And along this time, people started asking me for advice on how to do it. And I started teaching people on the side. Like I would take some people I mentor and they would start making money. And I was like, fuck it, let's launch this thing, And my average student makes between 5 and 10K a month. They're somewhere in that range within their first 90 days. That's within their first 90 days.
And these are personal trainers mostly, right?
No, like that's the thing. Initially, we thought it was going to be just personal trainers like me, right? But what we find is a lot of people come in, they just love fitness, and they would like to make money doing something they love.
Got it.
Right, and this is the opportunity for them to do it. So they may not have trained anyone, they might not be certified, they might not have a lot of experience or anything, or even a big following or nothing. And they come in our program, and we got the blueprint. So I'm able to do for them what Elliot and Owen and other mentors did for me, but I can do it at scale because we've mastered it.
Yeah,
And I can go into what that looks like if that's something you're interested in, but it's not. That's cool. I'm not like trying to sell my stuff. Like you asked me to come on because you're my boy, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yo, for sure, man.
No, I love this. I mean, this is what I had Nick Kosmin on. I just had Cole Gordon on, and this is exactly what they talk about: is the scalability first of scaling your own business, and then once you learn that, dude, there is a way. I know it's really hard because a lot of people are very skeptical, and there's so many scams out there that the idea that I can just teach you how to make your business scalable and make 7 figures, you don't believe it until you see it. To your point before about Elliot Hulse, Roger Bannister is the first man to run a mile in under 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So it took 2,000 years from the point that the mile was invented. A mile is 1,000 paces of a Roman legion, 5,280 feet. 2,000 years from the point that a mile was created until an individual ran a mile in under 4 minutes. And the second person to run a mile in under 4 minutes, it took 43 days. So that's the thing. Once you saw it was possible, when Michael Johnson broke the world record in the 200, there were 6 other sprinters that broke the previous world record in that same race, because once you see that thing is possible, then you can do it. So probably the most important thing would be for you to surround yourself with mentors who are doing the thing that you're capable of, or that you want to be capable of doing.
100%. Like I do that now.
Yeah.
I still do that. For example, I had never invested until I never bought a stock or anything, because I just, I had learned Facebook ads and all this stuff. So I just figured, listen, man, I can get such a better ROI from just investing in my business, right? And it's something I know too, right? Until my boy Derek Moneyberg, like we've been friends for a long time. And, he just came to New York. We were just hanging out because that's my dog. And he just showed me some of his investments. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I can see how
equities are pretty crazy. Yeah, you can definitely make a lot of money in that.
And then it was like, oh, that's different, right? And I had him show me, show me a lot of stuff. And I was like, fuck, I didn't know I could make all that money because I didn't know, right? Until Derek showed me. So it's the same thing. And so anything I want to do, I try to get, a mentor in that regard. Like I have mentors now for different areas of my life. Derek for investing. I have, I had just different mentors and different stuff, man. I think it's important.
The thing is, right, so you remember with Tai Lopez, right? He comes off as a teacher. That's one of his personas. The other persona is a student, right? He talks about what Alan Nations taught him. He talks about Dr. Buss, I would consider to be a mentor for me. Like these are things that he learned. So every week on this show, I try to learn something new and get takeaways from it. That's the thing as a coach. A lot of times you'll see coaches for whatever guru, whatever thing that their niche is. they get to the point where the learning has stopped for them because they're the guru and they can't let their students think that they're continuing to learn. But you're continuing. You're saying I have mentors and I continue to learn, and that's all because what do some coaches be like? Well, no, then I'll lose my students to my mentor. No, that's not how it works.
Nah,
you're showing your ability to learn. So we got limited time here. There's some stuff that I really want to go over. First off,
okay, but say that I have sometimes it's not only mentorship.
Yeah.
But you can also, it's accountability. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Sometimes it's structured accountability, or sometimes it's just if your boys or the people around you are balling, you're going to feel inferior around them. And that's going to push you a little bit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's gonna push you a little bit.
There's healthy.
You don't want to be the only scrub.
There's healthy FOMO for sure. There's healthy FOMO.
Yeah.
Then there's
man. If your testosterone, it makes you competitive.
For sure. That definitely. It's funny when I'm around guys who are doing a little bit better than me, I get competitive. But when I'm around, like, I have some friends that are famous athletes and then Bulgarian, I don't feel jealous because it's like they don't even live on the same. Like they're on a different planet than I am, and I don't even like see it as. I'm not jealous of Tom Brady. I'm just like he's like I can't throw the football that hard. But like for guys who are doing a little bit, like another guy who's 45 and he's making 7 figures and he's strong. Then that guy, I'm like, no, I got to do better than that. You know what I'm saying?
It's good. It pushes you.
It pushes you.
Good. You know,
as long as it's healthy. As long as it's healthy, I agree with you. That's definitely the case.
We push each other, and I still help them. Right? Like still, because I want to beat them at the best.
For sure.
So like I see, like for example, I know Andrew Tate for man long before he was famous, but I see what's happening. I'm like, oh shit.
Isn't it crazy?
Let me get back on the internet.
Bro, it's nuclear what Andrew Tate's doing. So hopefully Andrew and I are setting up a very spectacular podcast we're going to do in September when we're both going to be in the same country. I'm not going to give away too many details, but he and I are planning something out here pretty soon. And I have Justin Waller, one of his friends, coming on this Saturday. So that's what's up. So here's the thing. I want to talk to you specifically about dealing with criticism. I loved before. I'm not going to make any judgment whatsoever, but your response to what Greg Doucette the video he did about you, the incredible level of positivity. I thought the same thing when he kept saying, this guy looks, Greg says it in his very Canadian way. He goes, this guy looks better than 99% of the people out there in the entire world. He looks incredible. He's ripped like this. And you took it as a compliment because I would feel the same. Like I'm nowhere in that physique level, but like if I was one of these guys and nobody was doing a natty or not video on me, I would be insulted, right? So Greg Doucette made speculations about whether or not you were taking PEDs, and your response to the video, regardless of what you guys think, your response to the video I thought was fantastic. And then you went on later, and then you were very transparent about your trip through TRT. So first thing I want to ask you in this limited time we have left, first off, your whole response with Greg Doucette, what is your relationship like with him now? Because it's funny because he did the same thing with Greg O'Gallagher. You saw how they did a video together in Toronto, right? They were.
I think I saw that later. Yeah.
He was way more vicious to Greg than he was to you, by the way. He was like he was saying some stuff out of pocket to Greg, and then they made up and became friends. When your situation, he was somewhat complimentary. Can you talk about how did that affect you, the whole Greg Doucette thing, and then how you ended up dealing with criticism in general?
Yeah, when you get criticized by someone with a big following, most people will never understand what that's like.
Yeah.
Because you'll have literally thousands of people agreeing with them and talking shit about you. So the human brain is not designed to deal with that sort of criticism. Like we used to live in tribes of 150, 170 people, right? Correct me.
That's correct.
Yeah. And if you were ostracized from those tribes for any reason, death is the likely outcome. You're probably going to starve to death or get killed by some rival tribes or some animals, right? So over all the human history, we've been conditioned to want to fit into the tribe, right? And the ones who the humans who were able to fit into the tribe and not get ostracized, they passed their genes on, and that cycle continued, and we're all their descendants, right? So it's very normal to feel bad under those circumstances. I don't think anyone can really. It's difficult to, people say, "Oh, you shouldn't care." It's just like, no, you've never experienced it. So maybe early in my career, that stuff kind of bothered me a little bit. Like, years and years and years ago, that stuff would bother me, and I'm from from Chicago, man. I was ready to run up on people back in the day. You know, I was looking for people. I'm a lot older now, a lot wiser, and dealing with criticism now. One, I understand that that's what's supposed to happen, right? They killed Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah.
They killed John F. Kennedy. If you're religious, they killed Jesus. He seemed like a cool guy. You know
Dude, Malcolm X, his own people killed him.
Yeah, Malcolm X's whole crew killed him.
Yes.
Right? So it's like no one gets unanimous praise.
Yeah.
Tai Lopez told me that a lot earlier. He was like, I was like, how you deal with the criticism? It was early, and he was like, yeah, nobody gets unanimous praise. Ain't nobody, you know. And I just keep that in mind. You know, I don't expect everyone to agree with me, but it's also I'm really big on not letting outside people or outside events affect my emotions.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like it's not easy, but that's the goal, to never let it happen. I slip up sometimes, but I think that's a mark of strength. You know, you can, if you let outside people or outside circumstances control your emotions, then you're literally not in control of your own emotions, and your emotions influence your behavior. Sometimes they influence what you'll do, right? We've all been upset and done things that we regret, right? We've all done that, right? So they can actually influence what you do, or they can influence the quality of what you do, right? Like if you, for example, this is the first thing that comes to my head. If a woman gives you a blowjob, right? If she's real enthusiastic, the quality of that action is going to be different. Am I right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. By the way, ladies, that's how you actually get the ring. Just go anyway. Go ahead. That's how you actually get the ring.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
it's very simple. That's simple. But it's like, so it not only would affect what actions you take, but even if you take the right action, the quality of the action may be diminished if you're in a different emotional state. So if emotions can affect your behavior, for me, it's imperative that you have autonomy over your emotions and not let the outside world control them as much as possible. Because if you can't control your emotions, then you can't control your actions, and then you're a fucking liability.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You're a liability to yourself and everyone around you. And as a leader of men, you know, I have 30 employees. I have all these people who look up to me. You know what I'm saying? I have a son. You know what I'm saying? And if I can't lead effectively, I can't lead effectively if I can't control my own behavior. And if I can't control my own emotions, I can't control my behavior, or at least the quality of them, right? I'm disciplined enough to do something if I don't feel good, but the quality of it, right? Not only do I want to show up, I want to show up and show out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was a long-winded way of saying a YouTube video, somebody's homemade YouTube video is not going to control my emotional state. Sure. I don't allow that to happen anymore. This is something I trained myself to be like over.
Bro, I'm still looking for him. I'm still looking for him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna front. I'm from East Dallas. I'll send him my address. I'm like, come and say that to my face. I gotta stop. I gotta stop doing that. I need to stop doing that. But yes,
you gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, there's utility in that too, though, right? Because there is some utility in that, because that you can use that anger to push you, right? During times when you don't feel like doing something, or you need to rile yourself up, you could just do it. But if you want to do it with more enthusiasm, start thinking about the people you hate, or the people who did you wrong. There's some utility there, you know.
So I just like to be more even. Somebody keyed both sides of my car a couple weeks ago, and I made a video on it, and I got such a viral reaction from. I know who did it, and I got such a viral reaction from it, and it was one of these things where I don't even want to repaint my car. I'm like, that was awesome. It was a motivation to just kind of remind me in the gym. It's like these people are praying for my demise, and that needs to motivate me. Hey man, listen, I want you to come out here. Definitely want to do another podcast with you soon. Let's get you out here in Vegas pretty soon, and I would love. There's so many. I didn't even get to half the questions I wanted to ask you today, man. But these are absolutely fantastic, man. Where can people get a hold of you, man?
You know, the easiest way to find me, where I'm most active right now, is on Instagram, KingKeto. I'm on pretty much every other platform, but that's where I'm most that's where I'm most active. I'm coming back to YouTube. I took like a 1.5 year break of YouTube just because I was focusing on some of the business stuff. It's difficult to be a legit entrepreneur and influencer, at least for me. Some people do it really great. But I think I've got that figured out now, and I just wanted to focus on the money first. And then now I'm going back to being the influencer now that I feel like I got that handle where it can run in a way. So if I want to make YouTube, I want to do it right.
For sure.
Like, we're coming back next month. August 1st, the first video is coming out.
Love it. And your high ticket trainer, that is on your website?
Yeah, it's on my, you can, the easiest way to get in contact with that is to just hit me up on Instagram.
Okay.
Right. It's not for everybody. It's not some shit that anybody can just buy or join. I'm at the point where I don't have to work with everyone.
Yeah.
And I had this theory that the majority of people kind of suck. It's just America, most first world countries have a safety nets where you're not going to starve even if you suck. And so I kind of just want the right person to work with me. Because if I let anyone in, then there's a reason that you don't hear people talking shit about my business.
Yeah.
Ever. You don't hear much of that. Maybe there'll be a hater or something every now and then, but it's not like a thing like some of these guys, because they'll let anyone buy.
Yeah.
And I won't.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't need that. But a part of that is I don't think there's that many scams. I know you said there's so many scams. I don't think there's that many scams. I think so many people suck.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I think I can buy any program, anything you say is a scam, and I can find utility in there and make an ROI.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I've seen guys who are
I'm a G.
Yeah.
Right. So that doesn't mean you can, but like the you listener, right?
I've absolutely seen guys who are terrible with women teaching like a pickup product, and then guys get in there and they just start approaching women like crazy and they actually become good. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. You can, if you wanted to push hard enough, you can find some value in absolutely anything. You're definitely right. Hey man.
I think so. Now there's some teachers who are better than others for sure. Yeah. Right. But to call it a straight scam, I don't know how much of that exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think most people suck though, and they get a bad reputation because they let anyone buy their shit.
Yeah.
And if you just let any asshole buy the shit, of course you're gonna have a bunch of failures. Of course people aren't gonna win, right? Because most people suck at everything.
Yeah.
Well, they're fucking average at best at everything.
Yeah, beautiful. Hey, man, again, the way you dealt with the criticism, I thought it was a great example. I think the way you run your business is a great example. I think your story, all from rags to riches, is also a great example. So I wanted to give my viewers and my listeners an opportunity to hear from you. So I thought this was really great. But just listen to this. I can't wait to do another one of these. So hopefully I'll hear from you again soon. Hopefully you can come out. Like I ask all my guests if you want to come judge the bikini. I don't have enough judges. I'll be honest with you. I don't have enough judges for my bikini competition.
We'll make it happen, man.
Okay, cool. So come out here. We'll hopefully see you soon. Brandon, we can find you KingKeto on Instagram. For the rest of you guys, we have some incredible guests coming on. The network is growing. It's getting bigger. The tide is rising. And the people who've been reaching out to me recently, like I'm a huge fan of yours, and they're sitting there like, I want to come on your podcast. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to bring these people to you guys. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. I love all these Apple reviews that you guys are giving me. The comments I deeply appreciate, and thank you guys all for all the views that you guys are giving me on these YouTube shorts and the way TikTok and Instagram are exploding. Guys, I cannot possibly thank you enough. And any of you guys, it's been happening every day when I go out, you say like, hey man, I love your advertisements, or you're the MOA guy, or you guys come up to, you said this before when you're on a date with a girl and somebody says they want to take a picture. That started happening to me. That happened to me the other day at Mastro's, and I was like, guys, if I'm with a girl, come take a picture. I'm always
tell me how much you love me.
Tell me how much my program changed your life. I love it, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you again, Brandon, guys. We will see you all next week.